Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindsay and this is my channel Lindsay Talks a Lot. I'm excited for this video. I feel like I have not recorded in a while. Things have been a little bit crazy. I've been pretty busy. I just got back in town from a trip to Colorado for a wedding. And I had the best surprise waiting for me today, well yesterday and today. I got my books. I ordered some books from thriftbooks.com. They had a $3 sale for select titles and I ended up buying 30 books, which is a lot, but you can't beat a book for $3. And most of them are supposed to be in like new or very well used quality. So we'll see how that pans out, but I haven't opened any of them today yet. I kind of wanted to have us do it together because, to be honest, I don't even remember what books I actually ordered. A lot of them were new to me books, like authors and titles that I haven't heard of before, but the premise of the books interested me. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the video. I did bring scissors in case this would get a little chaotic. So this is The Neighbor's Secret by L. Allison Heller. It kind of gives me Little Fires Everywhere vibes. Probably not as eloquent, but I, was curious about it. It's about this woman who lives in this wealthy neighborhood. She's part of this Cottonwood book club. Some scandals happen. I think some kind of I don't know if a death or a fire or something happens. There's some secrets that are unveiled. I figured it was worth a try. Next we have My Brilliant Life by A. Rand Kim. This is a novel about a young boy who has a genetic condition where he ages very rapidly and he's not expected to live long. So as his gift to his parents, he's working on, I believe, a novel about his parents' love story. And it just sounds like it's going to be really beautiful, probably really, really sad. But I just really thought I would enjoy it. Next I have Save Me from Dangerous Men by S.E. Lalchuk. S.A. Lalchuk. That's kind of a weird tongue twister. This is about a woman that owns a bookstore, but she's also a private investigator, and she helps women out and she teaches bad men lessons. Kind of gives me They Never Learn vibes. I cannot remember that author's name, but this sounded super interesting to me. I hope it's good because I really think I'm going to enjoy it. I've also got The Photographer by Mary Dixie Carter. This book is about a photographer who ends up working for the party of 11-year-old girl and gets a little more involved with the family that she should. I believe she becomes the babysitter for the little girl she initially took photographs of, and I think she becomes obsessed with their life and with them as a family, and things go downhill from there. The next book that I have is The Power by Naomi Alderman. I'm really excited for this one. It's I don't know if it's a set in the future or what the deal is, but I think it has multiple POVs, and we're set in a world where young teenage girls have the power to hurt and kill people, which I think is a really interesting dynamic and a really interesting viewpoint, and I am excited to check this one out. A big boy. Next we have Reprieve by James Han Madison. This book is about a house of horrors, escape room style house that people can join a challenge in, and if they can survive the night without shouting the word reprieve, then they can win a cash prize. But before any of the contestants can win, one of them is murdered by someone. Don't really know the details of it, but this sounds super interesting. I also really love the cover of this, and the texture is really interesting. I wonder if it has a pretty, no, it's just plain. But yeah, I hope it's good. It's definitely got potential. Next we have Lightning Flowers by Catherine Standifer. This is a autobiography about a woman who ends up needing a defibrillator and has heart problems, and I believe it goes into the story of like her illness, all the things that she's been through, and she actually goes and researches like the cost of a defibrillator and where all these things come from. And since I'm in the medical field, I thought it would be really, really interesting to read about and maybe get a little bit of perspective for myself. It's got really good ratings, so I think I'm gonna enjoy this one. This is Hello Transcriber by Hannah Morrissey. This is about a woman who is a transcriber for a policeman who she's also has like a crush on. And it doesn't have the best ratings, but it just sounded so interesting to me, and I feel like it has a lot of potential, so I just really wanted to try it out. Our main female character wants to be a writer. I don't know how she's in the transcribing business, but she transcribes notes for this one cop that she's really into, and I believe that he kind of gets her to participate in his investigations with him, and things get a little crazy. I really like the cover. I think it's really cool looking. I'm excited to check this one out though. This is Everything I Have Is Yours by Eleanor Henderson. I don't know if it's based on a true story or it is actually a true story of the author's marriage, but it's about a young couple who meet and they fall in love, and you know, they start a family, they have a life, and then one day the husband breaks out into a rash and starts having all this pain and health issues, but doctors can't find anything wrong with them. And there's questions of whether it's a physical illness or a mental illness, and the struggles that they go through as a couple and as parents dealing with these problems. So I'm gonna check it out. I like the cover too, it's cool. Next we have Swimming Back to Trout River by Linda Rui Fang. It's about a family that's been separated, a Chinese family. Two parents, they have left their daughter in China to try to make a better life in America. And it's about their daughter living with her grandparents and kind of enjoying her life, and also about her parents and the struggles that they're going through in America. And it just sounds like a really profound, moving story, and I'm excited to check it out. And we have Upstate by Kalisha Backhannon. I believe, I don't know if this is YA or not, but it is a story about a young girl and boy who are dating. I think they're 17, and the boy gets accused of killing his father and gets sent to jail, and they write letters to each other, and they stay in contact through the years. And they describe it as a coming of age story, and how these two people's lives are intertwined throughout the years. I don't know if they date like on and off or they just stay friends, but it sucked me in, so I got it. This is Girl One by Sarah Flannery Murphy. It's a book about a girl who was the first experimental baby created without any male DNA. She's called Girl One. And there's like 9 other babies that have also been conceived in this manner, and they live on a homestead, so it sounds like a cult to me. A fire breaks out in the homestead, several people die, and they end up all kind of scattering across the US. Our main character's mother goes missing, and she goes on a journey with her other sisters to try to find her again. I really have not ever read any cult books, but I've always been interested in cults, you know, like all the documentaries that they have about them. So I'll be interested to see if one that is taking place in a book is just as interesting. Next, I have Feast Your Eyes by Mila Goldberg. I don't know if this is based on a true story or like it is a memoir. This story takes place like somewhat, I think back in the 90s, maybe the 80s. And it centers around a photographer that becomes really famous. She ends up getting arrested because she has pictures of her partially naked daughter. I think she's like 6 years old or so in a photo gallery. So she gets arrested for that. And it's just a story about her life and the things that she goes through and who she is as a photographer, as a mother. And it just sounded really interesting to me. Next, I have If These Wings Could Fly by Kyrie McCauley. This book focuses on our main character, who's a 17-year-old girl living in a small Pennsylvania town. The town becomes invaded with thousands and thousands of crows. Don't really know the backstory behind that, but I think it's used as like a metaphor for our main character's life. So she lives with an abusive alcoholic father, and she's 17. She's, about to graduate high school. She has a potential opportunity to move away and get away to somewhere safer. But she also has younger siblings that she worries about. And so really it's just a story about her and her life, and kind of the decisions that she has to make. Next, we have The Motion of the Body Through Space by Lionel Shriver. This is about a man who retires in his 60s and decides that he's gonna run a marathon when he's never exercised a day in his life. His wife is like an ultra fit person, and I think the story just kind of follows, what's his name? Remington's obsession with this new piece of his life, and his wife having to deal with that and accept it, and kind of like the turmoils through their marriage. It just seems like a weird book. I like the cover. It's probably something I'm either gonna love or hate. Okay, moving on to the next bag. I feel like we're not even close to being done. Next, we have The Missing Years by Lexi Elliott. This is about a young woman who inherits the house of her father who disappeared many years ago. I believe she also has a half-sister that inherits the house as well. It's set in like a small island in Scotland, and our main character has this sense of dread. She feels like something is stalking her, haunting her. I believe an intruder comes onto the island as well and starts breaking into the homes. But it just sounds like a really good thriller, possible horror, and I can't wait to dig in. Next, we have The Stowaway by James Murray and Darren Wearmouth. This story follows our main character, who was a juror for a serial killer case back in the day. She ended up being the deciding vote because there was circumstantial evidence, and so he was set free. She ends up going on a cruise, and someone starts killing people on the cruise, and they have to kind of figure out and band together to stop the serial killer. I'm a little bit nervous for this one because the reviews say that it's really, really graphic, and there are some really dark things that happen in this book. But I just thought the premise was really intriguing. Like, there's a murderer that you can't escape from. Like, you're on a boat, where are you gonna go? And they don't know who or why. And it's obviously somebody very dangerous and deranged. And I don't know if he's coming for her, if it's the same serial killer. I'm assuming it has to be. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Next, we have The Line Becomes a River by Francesco Cantu. This is about a man who grows up like right along the border. His mom's a park ranger. He ends up becoming a part of the border patrol and sees a lot of things, goes through a lot of things, and then decides to get out. Then he has a immigrant friend that goes back to Mexico to visit his dying mother and never comes back. So he starts to investigate and find things are not quite what they should be. I think this is going to be a really moving story, and it's about a subject that I really have no experience on and don't know anything about, so I'm excited to give this one a try. Next we have The Night Tiger by Yang Si Chu. I don't really know how to describe the plot of this book because it's kind of magical and not set in realism. Like, I think I'm gonna have to read it to be able to explain it, but it is kind of like a coming of age story, and it just sounded interesting from what I could get from the blurb, and the cover is really pretty also. Next we have When Life Gives You Lemons by Corinne Getton. This is a children's novel about a girl who lives on a small island. I believe a hurricane hits the town and they're kind of left with devastation, and our main character has lost some of her memories, and I've heard it's really cute. It really hits you hard, and it's a pretty short one, so I haven't read a lot of children's books like as of late, and I've just heard really good things about it, so I wanted to check it out. I've got The Orchard by David Hoppin. This is about a Jewish high school student that gets moved down to Miami and gets enrolled in this like opulent private school where he meets other kids that kind of push the boundaries of his life and his beliefs and his morals. I don't know if it's quite dark academia, but it does kind of give those vibes, and hopefully I will like it when I eventually read it. Moving on to The Other Americans by Layla Lalami. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. This is a family saga about a Moroccan immigrant that's living in America. I believe they're in California. I know it's on the West Coast somewhere, but he ends up getting hit by a car and killed, and his family all comes together to mourn him while also dealing with their own personal issues. It's supposed to be really beautiful. I really like this cover. Very simple, but very cool looking. And I will read it when I feel like crying. Next we have The Plotters by Eun-Soon Kim. This is a dystopian otherworld novel set in Seoul. Obviously not like real Seoul, like Seoul in another universe. Where people hire assassins. You have plotters, who are the people who hire others to be killed, and then you have the assassins themselves. Our main character is an assassin, and one day he decides to kind of investigate the plotters to kind of see like what actually is going on. I don't know if he questions his own morals as an assassin, or if he just, you know, wants to stop being a cog in the wheel. But it just sounded interesting, sounds a little like fantastical, maybe a little like off the wall, but I can't wait to check it out. I cannot believe how bright orange this book is. This is glowing. Next we have The Light at the Bottom of the World by London Shaw. I believe this is YA. It's set in a world where London is actually underwater, and our main character is a racer underwater, and she wants to compete in this competition where the prize that you get is essentially whatever you want. The Prime Minister of London, I guess underwater London, will grant you a wish. And our main character's father has been falsely accused and is now imprisoned, and so her goal is to win this race and free her father. Next we have When the Sparrow Falls by Neil Sharpson. This is like a dystopian novel that's set in the future where AI kind of is very well integrated into the universe, and you can't tell like if someone is artificial intelligence or they're actually a human. And our main character ends up being sent on this mission to like chaperone a woman whose husband's been killed. It turns out her husband was actual artificial intelligence, but nobody knew that. And kind of his story, he gets intermingled with her, and we're kind of set in this dark world. I'm really curious. I love dystopian. I love anything apocalyptic. Like, that's just right up my alley. This definitely borders on science fiction, so I hope it's not like too much for my brain to comprehend. But I thought it was an interesting premise, and we'll see. Next we have Jellico Road by Melinda Marchetta. I have no idea what this is about. I just read the blurb and I still don't really know what it's about. Sounds like a mystery. Someone goes missing and our main character has to try to find her. The cover is gorgeous though. That's probably part of the reason why I picked it. But we'll see. We'll see if it lives up to its design. Next we have Brickmakers by Selva Almada. This book follows two prominent brickmaker families and their feud, their longtime run family feud. And it actually, I think the story just takes place in this one scene where two of the family members are dying and they kind of reflect on everything that's happened to lead them up to this place. I love the cover of this. I just think it's so cool. And I think it's really interesting. It's really a short one, but it probably packs a punch. Next we have Rovers by Richard Lance. This is a post-apocalyptic, or I guess just supernatural. I mean, it's set in the 1970s, but it is kind of a dark world. But our two main characters are vampires, and they kind of go around and find bad people and kill them and drink their blood. But one day they meet a girl and she needs their help, and so they kind of stray away from this path, this life that they're used to living, and they try to help her, and I think it kind of changes their perspective on things. But I don't know. I love vampires. Like I said, I love the apocalypse. I love supernatural. So this seems right up my alley. And finally, we have How We Became Wicked by Alexander Yates. This is, I believe, a YA dystopian novel set into a world where there are three classes: the wicked, the true, and the vexed. I don't really know what being wicked means in this story, but we have three main characters and they're kind of learning that maybe things are not so clear-cut, and they question, you know, what does it really mean to be wicked, which I don't know what it means to be wicked. I will have to read to find out. But thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've heard of any of these books or if any of them sound interesting to you. I have no idea where I'm gonna put any of these, but it's okay because they're mine now. And I'm just super pumped that I got all these books for $3 a piece. And I will talk to you guys soon and hopefully get you updated on some of these guys. But anyway, I hope you're having a great day and I'll see you next time. Bye.